Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Kanun. So as we know that we are, as we all know that we are at Genesis DevCon, the event which is being organized by IBC Media, and we are at Bangalore. And right now we are interviewing Caleb Ko, President Southeast Asia for Tezos. So welcome Caleb.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
So we all know Tezos, and it has been in news since 2017. It was backed by Tim Draper, who has been quite bullish on Tezos. And there have been ups and downs in Tezos, as we know that the after the ICO, it took a while for it to come on exchange. So we want to hear from Caleb that the I think the worst time or the tough time I think is over now for Tezos, and what are the future prospects for Tezos? So Caleb, is everything okay now at Tezos?
I think everything is much better compared to when it got started off.
Okay.
So, that's evident through a lot of development that's been happening, a lot of very positive news about real world scenario adoptions. So, just like yourself, I was involved in Tezos at the early beginnings, and there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of questions around whether the project will make it, and that's kind of how I got involved at that time. So, at that stage, I was looking for a platform that would be able to power one of the startups that I invested in. So that's kind of the long story of how I got involved. And then, things got delayed because of some issues with the then foundation. So one thing for sure is that the current Tezos Foundation board is a totally new board. They are people that are very vested in the long-term future of Tezos. And they're really taking very clear steps to make sure that this can be funded well in the long term. So things like the grant process that has been ongoing on a very regular basis. And they've been funding community organizations just like Tezos Southeast Asia, which is where I'm from, Tezos Japan, Korea, China just got started, and India even in the last 3 months started very early grassroots stage type of activities, training, developer courses. So things do definitely are working out well in terms of a lot of activity, a lot of awareness. Okay. It might not be the last time we see problems, but then I'm pretty confident that the current foundation is in a very good position to be able to navigate these challenges as they come.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think what you said, we have been recently seeing that in the recent past, like couple of months, it's been what we have been observing that Tezos India Foundation is like quite active, and
Yes.
they've been in and around in many events. We have met the team. So India seems to be a real focus for Tezos, is it?
India represents a very unique opportunity, I believe, for Tezos, because there's just so much talent in terms of not just IT, but what I'm seeing is there's a lot of entrepreneurial talent. So that combination itself allows very talented individuals to look at a blockchain like Tezos and say, what can I build on? What's the next thing that I would like to base my startup, my idea upon? But then on the other hand, you also have very big established enterprises that are seriously considering adopting blockchain. So, these two elements are why initially when the team in Tezos India, for example, and Bern, when they approached us in Singapore, they said, we want to get something off the ground. Tezos Southeast Asia has been around for maybe slightly over a year. They wanted to collaborate with us to say, can they get started while at the same time getting some support from us? So support in terms of not just monetary support, but rather the intrinsic stuff, like learning from how we run meetups, how we engage government, industry, how do we share resources like education, content. So that's why a few months ago, they actually started some very basic training courses, and the response was fantastic. Yeah, we've got like hundreds of developers, literally hundreds of them, asking for more resources. Where can they find information?
That's amazing.
So we're actively trying to support the India team to be able to carry this mandate further.
That's amazing. So, Caleb, suppose I want to start a decentralized application, my own dApp, and I have few options to see, if in terms of blockchain, I have Cardano, Neo,
Right.
EOS. I have quite a lot of options, suppose. So, if you have to sell me Tezos, that you should come and build your own dApp on my Tezos.
Yeah.
So why I should come to Tezos? I mean, what is that thing which separates Tezos from other blockchain?
So my simple answer to you would be, if you value security and at the same time be able to formally verify your smart contracts, then Tezos is ready for you. This, compared to many other platforms, is the unique point why so many financial institutions are trying to figure out, how can they tokenize digital assets on our platform. We've had some good news around multiple projects around the world trying to tokenize hundreds of millions in terms of property, in terms of digital assets. And the reason why they are choosing Tezos is because they feel very safe with the platform. Since the mainnet was launched, there were no major security issues. We've successfully underwent 2 self-amendment cycles. So this is the process whereby token holders around the world vote for the protocol to be upgraded. So the network is ready. It's ready for developers to start embracing it and to start being more creative upon. It's not a network that will be versionalized today, but rather it's something that can evolve according to what are the needs of the market in the future.
Recently, we came across this news that Coinbase, if is giving interest on holding Tezos. And one of the most important news recently came across as that in France, the French army is actually making smart contracts on Tezos.
Yes. Yep.
This must have been a great new motivating news for you guys. I mean,
yes, for sure.
So can you tell me something more about it? These 2 developments.
So the French army project was actually spearheaded by Nomadic Labs, which is the development hub that's based in Paris. They're made up of very talented core developers, and obviously being there it's helpful to drive a lot of local point of contacts. And essentially this was a project that got started way back in September. Obviously with some of these very high-level military type of defense endeavors, secrecy and security is very important. The reasons why they needed something on the blockchain could also be multiple factors. For example, they wanted to be able to formally verify the contracts. They wanted to be able to account for public expenditure. So in certain industries, it's very important to show where your expenditure goes to in a transparent manner. But then again, with some level of encryption that lends peace of mind, so that you don't encrypt it and then have it easily hackable somewhere else. So that was a very encouraging piece of news. And there are so many of these initiatives going around the whole world, in fact. Yeah, we hear.
I think it has picked up in recent times. It has picked up.
Yes, for sure.
Suddenly, every week we are seeing some developments which are happening.
Yes, yeah. And these developments happen all around the world.
Yeah.
They are not directed by anyone, but rather people are drawn to Tezos and they look at examples of what has been done. So they go back to their own localized environment and they say, okay, this is probably a niche area that I can try to build something on. Yeah.
Okay. So since we are known for regulatory in regulatory space, and since you are present in Southeast Asia, and I'm sure in Southeast Asia, I mean, from Singapore, when you look at India, and you must have studied India well, that what are the opportunities, and if you have to convince the government, the state here in India, that why they should adopt, open blockchains and blockchain like Tezos, and how it can actually help problems, which are there in a country like India.
Yeah.
So can Tezos play a very important role in solving those problems?
Oh, definitely. I think when we look at Southeast Asia, it's healthy to understand that this is made up of so many disparate cultures, regulation barriers, challenges, but also there's very good opportunity because if you are able to have clear transparency and very clear understanding of regulatory frameworks, that will propel industry further. So a simple example I always like to give is that if someone sees a problem that needs to be fixed, but their hands are being tied because most of the time it is because of a lack of clarity. It's not like, governments are not against blockchain adoption or crypto per se. What they are worried about is actually the welfare of their people.
Yeah.
And that's where it's really coming from. We talk to regulators in so many different countries. I have never heard a regulator told me, oh, we are going to outright ban all of these things. But rather they want to ask more questions. Yeah, they want to know for themselves, what is this? What does it represent? Okay, and ultimately where it's coming from is I need to be prepared so that ultimately if my people, my constituents, my population, they're going to get scammed. How can I protect them better? Exactly. So once we are able to understand this, I think that so many industries can benefit. And where Tezos is good as a platform, is also combined with the benefits that we are very local. So obviously in Singapore we're there. We've got presence in different countries, India as well. So it's a very consultative approach. It's very much share with us, what keeps you up at night, and maybe the solution might not be blockchain. We've told so many people before that you might really benefit from having a very big database instead of a blockchain solution. And they do appreciate that. So I think it's that process of talking in a more consultative manner.
So a lot of people in India, and especially the newcomers who have just entered into the space, if you have to explain a non-tech guy, about Tezos, so how you'll explain it?
So I was at a conference last month with the ACCA, the Accounting Association in Singapore. So the whole crowd was full of accountants. And the analogy I gave was that the Tezos blockchain is a book, like your ledger, that can store information. But this book is unique because you can add pages to it. You can change the binding. Obviously you cannot go back and delete what has been written on the book, but you can even upgrade the pages, insert more insight. You can even link this book to another book. Because of Tezos' unique self-amendment process, it's very future-proof for them. So when you have more business processes being cleared, when you are able to kind of tackle what's coming in the future, Tezos is a platform that you can build on quite securely.
Last question. When Tezos is going to be US $10? Anytime soon?
I wish it would be soon. We've had a lot of good news coming out lately. So many people that we talked to a year ago are now finally calling us, and they say, hey, the market is tanking. Why is Tezos going up by double digits? Something is up. So I think it's a combination of doing the right thing at the right time, getting talented people, supporting them. $10, this is not financial advice. I don't feel it's impossible. Yeah.
It doesn't feel that it is impossible. And I'm sure you wanted to hear this answer, right? So with this thought, I'm sure that you must have enjoyed this interview. If you like this interview, please give a like, and comments are welcome. And if you have any questions for Tezos, you can email us. We will forward that email to the Tezos team. Caleb, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.
We'll get back once again some email.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you.